Hafide, welcome to another episode of ReelTalk. This is the start of Season 2, and we are beginning Season 2 with a big topic today. We're talking about Avengers Endgame, which is an amazing movie. If you have not watched Avengers Endgame, do not watch this podcast.
Pay attention to the caption.
Okay,
Major spoilers.
Major spoilers. We're going to spoil the entire movie. This particular podcast is just going to be about, we're just going to debate different topics about the movie, things that happen, and how we felt about the movie in general. So once again, I repeat, if you have not watched Avengers Endgame, do not listen to this podcast.
Wait, how do you guys feel about that? Because there's so many people on Facebook saying, and they're like, oh, they're threatening to quit Facebook, or they say they're going to unfriend all these different people because everybody's spoiling it. It's like, dude, if you haven't seen the movie and you consider yourself a true fan, go watch the movie.
Or just don't go on social media.
It's pretty tricky. Like, some people are spiteful and will, hide the spoilers and other types of content.
They'll trick them.
That's just cruel.
What do you mean? They put, every third word is a cryptic message? Or?
No, they put, you watch a video
for something or whatever,
and
it shows a spoiler.
Bootleg of part of the movie that spoils something.
Iron Man's dead.
Well... And we're moving on. So, spoilers in this episode. But before we continue with that, on a more solemn note, John Singleton, the critically acclaimed director, died at the age of 51 this morning.
Rest in peace, man.
He's the youngest person ever to be nominated for Best Director for Boys in the Hood. And, he's made a lot of our favorite movies. Jason, myself, Marie. So we're big fans of John Singleton. Rest in peace. We're sorry to see him go. And next episode, episode 2, will be purely on his films and
I always felt a special
his
connection
accomplishments as a director
to John Singleton and his work because he's my peer. I think he's only a couple of years older than I am.
Oh, really?
I mean, Boys in the Hood came out for me when I was in high school, and he was, I believe when he was nominated, he was 20 or 21. So.
I don't know, but yeah, youngest person ever to be nominated for Best Director. So.
And all three of us have endless fandom for Four Brothers.
I know I do. I
like the movie.
We'll definitely talk about John Singleton next week. So if you're a big fan of John Singleton, stay tuned for that one. But on to today's topic, Avengers Endgame. We all watched it. Asha and I watched it on Friday. Jason watched it on Sunday.
Yeah, after he read all the spoilers.
Thank you. Okay, here's the thing. You guys are gonna bury me. These guys have buried me already. So all three of us, thank you for streaming our pre-show podcast. By the way, we were right outside
season finale.
Yeah, right outside the box office. That was super fun.
It was fun. I hope we get to do that again. So shout out to our sponsors, Tango Theater, who was able to hook us up with that, and that was cool.
Wait, where's the popcorn? Where's the popcorn containers?
No one took one home.
I didn't get one.
Because you had Hulk, you had Captain America. No, I had nothing.
I had nothing.
If you
didn't take the Captain America?
No, we don't take those home. Yeah. They're we don't just
Props.
take.
But your fingerprints are all over it, and grease and
whoa, wait,
grease
what?
And
your fingerprints are on it?
I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to get you some swag.
Man, so guys, if you don't know, Tango Theaters has some great deals and little limited edition specials. They have these little popcorn containers of the Avengers characters. Well, at least they're Hulk. Who do they have? Spider-Man, Black Widow. And you can put popcorn in them. It's pretty awesome. And they're $15 to buy outright, or you can get them for $12.99. Oh no, you can buy them for $12.99, or you can get a pack of $15. For $15, you can get the popcorn, the little holder, as well as a drink.
And they're big. Okay,
they're awesome. Those are really cool.
And the fact that these two did not keep them, or did maybe just slyly tuck them underneath their hoodie before they went into the theater, and that is my point. Well, thank you, Tango Theaters. These two, after we were done with our podcast, we broke down all our streaming gear. They went right into the theater and watched the Friday night premiere.
I needed a good seat, guys.
I came back to the station because I had work to do, but then I saw it Sunday. Friday night, I actually read Vanity Fair, Rolling Stone. I read a bunch of articles, so I basically spoiled the movie for myself, which I did not mind. And this guy thinks I'm crazy.
Would be the only person
there are
that doesn't mind.
Millions of people who are up in arms because people have spoiled the movie for them, and then you purposely went out
to
spoil it for yourself before watching the movie.
It's not spoiling if you don't feel bad about it. I just wanted to see, I wanted to see who died. I wanted to see how the movie ended, and I want to see reaction to it. And I wanted to see,
and you could all see it when you watched the movie.
Well, I did.
You decided not to do that.
48 hours later, I watched it on Sunday. I watched this Sunday 11 a.m.
It's like you were afraid.
Weird one.
You were afraid of having no control
over your emotions.
That's
on the same page.
Have you guys been working on that?
No.
You guys call each other up late at night? No, okay, 1, 2, 3, say emotion.
It's almost like we.
You're easy to read, Jason. You're easy to read.
Evidently. Okay. Well, I must ask though, because we obviously did not sit in the theater at the same time. Were you guys next to each other in the theater?
No, I don't think so.
What row were you guys in the theater?
I sat in the front.
Man, I had a really good seat.
I didn't sit in the way front, but you know how they have when you walk in, there's that main aisle, the space, and you can either sit in the front or on the top. I sat in the front row of the top, right?
Oh, okay. That's a good seat.
I was 4 rows away from the screen. That's the only seat I could get. I did not get the main seat I wanted, which is the one with the railing, because I'm half giraffe and I wanted to put my legs up. So I watched the movie like this.
Which we don't condone because at Tango theaters you're not supposed to put your feet on the railing. But of course,
Is this rude?
Yes.
This is okay.
It's super
that
rude,
is rude.
Okay, sorry.
To do that at a theater, Okay, so real quick before we even start, me and my friend were watching a movie one time, and she's just sitting back relaxing. Someone's foot touched her. Isn't that rude?
No, but that's why I do it on the railing, because there's no row in front of you.
I'm just saying, don't put your feet up. It's not your house.
This is not your house. Gosh,
I just turned 45.
It's like we finish each other's sentences.
No, but I just turned 45. So if you're sitting next to me, I can either put my feet up on the railing, mind my own business, not bother anybody in front of me, or I can stretch my legs every 2 minutes and have what is probably the onset of osteoporosis, with my knees popping and everything, and disturb you during the movie. See, I'm of the people. I'm altruistic.
So
I'm just wasting my breath, apparently.
Okay, so I watched the movie. All right, we're just talking about.
Okay, wait. Who had the better seat though? I was 4 rows back from the screen.
I had the best.
I was looking straight up, basically.
I didn't have. My seat was okay.
I had a really, really good seat.
Okay, well, good. Did the movie seem like it was 3 hours and 1 minute? It did not to me.
No.
I thought it was 3 hours.
So quick. I thought it seemed like.
Really, I thought it was 3 hours.
Okay, did it seem like?
It seems like it went by so fast.
Did it seem any shorter than we watched when the 3 of us watched Pet Sematary together? Because that movie
seemed like the same.
It seemed longer than Pet Sematary.
For me, it just seemed like it wasn't that long.
That movie went. Endgame was what? I was like, wow.
I could sit on a chair and watch a movie for movies for the entire day. So 3 hours is nothing.
Okay, wow. Well, some of us have yards to mow or taxes to pay, or
You don't even mow your yard, dude. Do you really mow your lawn?
I cut the check for the landscape. The landscaping guy.
The check for the landscaping guy. I don't mow my lawn either, so I'm not trying to.
Yeah, and you were whining the other day about how your house is the only one without a palm tree. So well, this isn't even spoilers.
I digress. Okay, that's okay. To the movie.
We finished each other's sentences.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was really good.
Really good.
I loved it. I'm sad though.
Maybe if some scenes in the movie weren't spoiled for me, maybe I would have teared or been a little more emotional. But since major plot devices were spoiled for me, I didn't really feel the impact of.
What was spoiled for you?
Tony Stark dying. Oh, spoilers.
Oh, so you already knew that.
No, we were talking about this in our pre-show podcast because the three of us were
about it.
We were saying, okay, who do you think is going to die? You both said Iron Man. I said I have a feeling that Black Widow will not get past this. So we were both.
That's crazy. Did you know that though, or did you just guess?
I just and it's not one of those things.
You just had a feeling
because Black Widow's got a origins movie coming out, I believe next summer, and we already knew that Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr., and Chris Evans, their contracts are up with Disney, so something had to give. But I just had a feeling Black Widow was not going to make it out of this one alive.
Well, you were right.
Yeah.
All right.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Tragically, we were all right. Okay.
I liked it.
But you actually knew that Iron Man was. That Tony Stark sacrificed himself.
I had a feeling like
I saw something online, but I didn't read into it.
Yeah,
so I wasn't sure. I was just like, oh man, Just like
I was just hoping that what I had seen was maybe a scene from like
from something
Infinity
else,
War
right?
that maybe I didn't recognize,
Exactly.
and I was like, okay, well.
Why do you guys even go online if you know? See, again,
No, it was hidden in other content. Like I was watching a video.
Jason, it's by
something
accident.
else. Yeah,
we
like,
don't look for it.
You know, like other.
you
people.
want me to go there? You really? Okay, I was sitting next to Asha yesterday. We were working. Ken had already left for the day. Asha was waiting for me to give her some piece of digital content. This genius, this titan of intellect, right, goes on Twitter, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I found out who dies in Game of Thrones tonight."
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
she
really? You
wasn't-
went on Twitter knowing
It's
that?
not like I went to go look for
Yeah,
it. It just popped up.
You don't think a few people would be talking about that? I mean, what a wonderful time to be a nerd.
Jason,
this weekend.
do you know what our job is?
Mortal Kombat 11 came out last
I am
week.
a digital producer, and I go
Endgame.
online to social media accounts and look for stuff
Stuff.
to like freaking. Well, you know, I look at content which I can produce too. So
Exactly.
I look for inspiration online, and somebody just has to spoil it for me by putting it on my timeline.
Can we cue up the Justin Timberlake? Cry me a river.
But yeah, it does stuff.
Did
when
you like the movie? You liked it.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Okay, did you?
I feel like maybe that's just because I want it to be longer. I felt like they could have went into how they got the Infinity Stones, like more into depth. Because I felt like that
Okay.
part was just really rushed. But
I felt the
The
first
first
act,
half of the movie.
The
Was
first,
Yeah.
I thought the first act, like everything up to Thor beheading Thanos, and like the whole thing with Captain Marvel.
yeah,
like,
that part was really quick.
yeah.
Okay, the only part that wasn't quick, Ken and I talked about this briefly. Okay, so right after Thor's like, I went for the head, and then he walks out, fade to white, and then all of a sudden, 5. And I was like, okay, Act 5, 5 guys, hamburger.
I don't.
It said 5
Years.
years later.
No, but late. It was at least 7 or 8 seconds in between everyone, and I was like, 5 years. Okay,
No,
fine.
no.
Yeah, that thing was slow.
You are so like. Wow. Oh my gosh.
That thing was
You are
slow.
so impatient. I
No,
can't believe
no,
that.
No, but I was like,
no.
wait, well, 5 what? 5 years? Okay, 5 years prior.
So, you know, speaking of that and your impatience, like, when did you use the bathroom? Did you use the bathroom? I didn't. I used it right before the movie started.
when was our pee break?
Yeah.
When was your pee break?
Okay, pee break.
Pre-bake. Your pee break.
I went to I feel like I had to answer the call of nature. Maybe when Thanos first bought it, and I was like, okay, I can hold this, and then I just knew about an hour into the movie, I'm like, okay, there's gonna be an epic battle scene. I don't want to miss that. So when Thor and Rocket went back to Asgard, I was like, all right, and I got up and I sprinted to the bathroom, and then I came back right when Thor was talking to his mom.
Man, that scene was pretty sad.
Renee Russo looked great in that movie too.
Yeah, I mean, considering how she looked
Damn,
in
I don't know,
Nightcrawler,
man.
yeah, she
Thor
looked
was a
great
little,
there.
you know, a little different in this movie, but
Yeah, what
still
do you,
hot.
Okay, there's
Still hot.
There's a couple character arcs, right? Thor became the bro, right? I mean, they even joked about it. Thor became the Big Lebowski. Frat boy, drunk, severely overweight. You know, just like
I'd still date him.
But
I don't think he was a frat boy. He was just like conflicted
Okay.
and agonized.
And the character I have liked
He
the
went
least.
into like super depression
Yeah.
mode and just lost
yeah, and
himself.
he had issues that he had to deal with.
Yeah,
The Hulk, the character I've liked the least in all of these
he
movies.
found himself.
Yeah, and,
That
and
was
the reason
crazy.
I
I was like, wait,
The
what?
reason I don't like the Hulk is because going back to the original comic books, you had Bruce Banner and then you had the Hulk. They were complete alter egos of themselves. They never had this dialogue between the two. The way it's been portrayed, like especially in the last movie where Bruce Banner, he's like, come on, Hulk, we got to get out of here. It was more like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where the guy's talking to this other personality, and he's fighting with himself, he's irking himself on, and I didn't like that. But I liked the direction they took the Hulk in this. It was even funny. It's like, okay, maybe you want to smash a few things. Okay, was it?
I thought it was.
That part was
I
pretty funny.
thought it was really creative. I thought it was really creative. Like,
The Hulk had a lot of chest there too.
yeah, I mean, it was cool how they
Oh,
did
no,
the
I
thing
didn't
with
look at
Hulk.
that.
I thought that was really funny. Because I mean, what's the whole point of like casting Mark Ruffalo for a role if
He's not even gonna.
he's
be
never gonna be,
him.
The guy from
portraying
Spotlight.
his acting chops? You know what I
They
mean?
knew, Robbie. They
No,
knew,
exactly,
and they didn't
you know
do
what I mean?
anything about it.
So if he's just gonna be the big green CG guy for most of the movie,
They
that
could've-
seems like a waste. It could have just been
Yeah, they
anyone,
could've picked
right?
anyone.
Like,
Okay, so getting back to the Hulk, to Thor. I thought, honestly, when the battle started and Thor, found his redemption and, he was able to summon his hammer.
That he was just going to lose the weight and be mighty again?
Because he's a god. He can, when he did have the thunder, course through him, all of a sudden his beard became braided, which was super cool.
Oh my god, that part was so funny.
That was trippy, and all of a sudden, his eyes were glowing with the thunder, and he was like, "Okay, I
totally forgot about that.
I am the thunder god. I am the son of Odin once again." And yet, he's still got a muffin top.
Oh man, the part that tripped me out though was when Thor was getting his butt kicked, right? And all you see is the hammer shaking and stuff, and you're like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna get his freaking hammer." Boom! Captain America has his hammer.
Okay, from that point on in the movie, I was sold. I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, this is a good movie. I actually cheered. And it takes
I did too, because I was just waiting for Thor to get it. And then when I saw Captain America get it, Sherelle already saw the movie and she was sitting next to me. Oh, no. She was just staring at me right? I was like, damn, that was pretty cool.
I actually thought it was Mjolnir acting on its own. The hammer just acting independently. And all of a sudden when it went, I was like, dude, that is so cool. That was
pretty cool.
Infinitely rad.
Really cool. That was super
cool.
such
a comic.
And then even that sequence, you see once Captain America started swinging it and he was using it in tandem, he was bouncing his shield off Thanos' head with that. I was like, that was so cool.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
And I honestly, I really liked...
The theater went nuts when that happened.
I really liked what they did with Thor. I really liked how he became, fat. And, I thought that was just, an interesting, no one really saw that coming. And, he still played it off.
So a god became more human, you mean?
In my opinion, I thought he had the best role of the movie. That, in my opinion. I thought Thor played the most interesting character, stole the show. And I think Disney or Marvel has kind of found his role in a series. He's that comic relief, but he's still...
Chris Hemsworth can really handle comedy.
He is funny.
Yeah.
Remember at the way end, the ship?
Yeah, he's good.
I really think... Of course.
Oh, when he just gives him that look, he's like, oh yeah, you're in charge.
One thing that
it's time for Asgardians of the Galaxy. That was funny.
Dude, this series this is a culmination of 11 years of movies, right? So they really wanted to tie all the loose ends, get all the characters some kind of screen time. And then even with a 3-hour length, there's still just limited space, right? But I think they did a very good job of finessing each character into a plot area, and also still promoting the future of that universe, right? With the A-Force and Asgardians of the Galaxy. They really do. They managed it pretty well.
Can we talk about the A-Force thing? I mean, sure. They've already said Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I believe, is in production right now, and Thor is going to be a central part in that, if not one of the main characters. But the whole not so subtle hint in A-Force. So Captain Marvel picks up Spider-Man. He's got the gauntlet, and then she's like, she's like, hi, I'm Peter Parker. She's like, hi, I'm Carol Danvers. I can't even do her voice because she's got that it's not auto-tune, but she sounds awesome. And she's like, I'm Carol Danvers. Can I have that? Girl. Yeah, and then he's like, wait a minute, who's gonna help you? And all of a sudden he's like, he has help, and you've got Captain Marvel.
It's all the girls.
Yeah, Valkyrie, Wasp, Pepper Potts in the what do you call it?
Damn, bro! When I saw her in that suit, I was like, wait. Okay. It took me about a minute before I realized who it was. I was like, who the hell's this chick?
Oh, you didn't know? Okay, but obviously they're doing that because they're setting up, because in the comic books in Secret Wars you had all of the women who were led by She-Hulk and
She-Hulk.
Captain, hasn't been introduced yet. So She-Hulk and Captain Marvel and Tigra and Medusa and all these characters. But now they're actually going to have the next version of the Avengers is going to be an all-female team.
Has this been confirmed? You saw this somewhere. Dang, that's crazy.
So I thought it was a little bit forced, and the crowd in the theater when I watched it on a Sunday did not respond so positively. I think maybe if Disney made this movie 25, 30 years ago, they wouldn't have done that. But I think these days they just do it because they know, okay, social justice warriors and feminists and people that just love to, jump on one side or the other are going to talk about this on social media incessantly for months. So there's marketing capital in that. And they did promote the movie. So I get that.
I mean, I thought it was pretty weird. At first, I was like, yeah, that's kind of so cliche. You're just going to put all the female characters together and make them do, like, some big scene together. And I guess, as far as plot tying elements go, that's a pretty lame way to go about it. But I didn't know that the A-Force was actually a thing. And now that I know that it's a thing, I think that is super awesome. I think that's a great way to promote that next generation of films that are going to come out. I mean, you see all these movies where they remake it to have like female leads, like the Ocean's series or Ghostbusters. So, and I think
that social
really
media kills very unfairly.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting dynamic. I think it's cool. So I now that I know that the A-Force is actually a real thing, I think that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it was only like a 15-second sequence. They just got it in there enough just to get it in people's minds, and they didn't belabor the point.
All right, so whose death? Oh wait,
where
was
are
the
we?
best moment of the movie for you guys?
Oh, best moment of the movie. Okay, for me it was Asha already stole the show, right? It was when
he got the hammer.
When Captain America, like the hammer went into Captain America's hand. I was like, oh man, that was so cool.
Yeah,
that was amazing. And just the reaction of everybody in the theater, and just like the way they played it out, and then the fight afterwards, and the way he went almost berserker mode on Thanos, and Thanos took it.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Thanos got royally screwed up, and he kept coming back. I mean, each one of the characters Scarlet Witch got her licks in, Captain America got her licks in, Spider-Man jacked him up a couple times and everything, and he kept coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was mine. Mine was Cap and the Hammer.
I thought, man, I don't know. I think that was like the moment. I did not see that coming at all. I thought that was awesome. I was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
was that yours too?
Actually, I like.
Oh man, there were a lot of good moments. I can't pick and choose which one was the best.
Actually, you know what? Maybe the funeral was my favorite moment. Maybe. At least the shot, just because I have appreciation for the way they shot it.
Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so all three of us are filmmakers, right? We all work in video. We've all shot. We've all edited. Some of us more than others. And you guys are, the two of you are way better than I am. You guys are very, very good at it. What did you guys think of the movement of the camera when you had the funeral scene
when it goes to everybody? I liked it.
I thought it was super classy. I really liked it. I thought.
It was interesting because they didn't keep the camera still and have everybody walk by the camera like a typical.
Yeah, they just moved the camera in between.
Yeah, it was like move forward, strafe right to left, go forward, go left to right, and you really felt
it looked like looking at a comic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Through the panels.
I thought that was. I thought that was really classy.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And if you've watched the movies or you've read the comics, it was a chance for you, the fan, to say goodbye to and to look back at all of this history over the last more than a decade of stuff. It's like, wow, look, like all the people.
Where'd you read that at? I know you've read that somewhere.
That's 100% me.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, and you saw all the people: Jon Favreau, Michelle Pfeiffer, William Hurt, Michael Douglas. I mean, even though he wasn't in the funeral scene, Robert Redford was there.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, there was a lot of people that Disney cast in these movies.
It was amazing. Like
also through all 22 movies. I learned this the other day on this one podcast I listened to, same casting director. All 11 years, the same person cast every single movie by herself.
Cool.
Hope she got paid because she did a great job.
Okay, now for the one question that everybody was asking. Did you guys notice when the funeral procession was moving, the camera was moving through, there was one person right behind Scarlet Witch.
Are you talking about the little boy?
The little boy.
Yeah, that was the boy from Iron Man.
Did you know that? I didn't even know who that was, so I had to look it up.
Yeah. You mean you looked it up before you even watched the movie?
You didn't watch the other movies, right? So you didn't know.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't have known. You didn't watch Iron Man.
Oh.
What was that, Iron Man 3?
Yeah, Iron Man 3.
Did you watch Iron Man 3?
I did watch Iron Man 3.
Yeah, he was the boy in the house that took Iron Man into his garage or something, or shed.
And he makes his own version of the reactor. And it's super cool.
That was cool.
What was the worst? So the best moment for you was the funeral.
The most memorable, I guess, moment or
How was the crowd when you guys were watching that funeral? Because for me, when I was watching it, there were a lot of little kids there because I was watching the Sunday morning one. There were children, women, and grown ass men sobbing in the theater. I mean, it really felt like an actual funeral.
Sniffles, and I was just like, Wow. Is that Asha or is that Asha's nose or?
I was looking around. I was like, dude, is everybody sick or what?
Yeah.
Seriously, I was like, wow, man.
I didn't see anybody cry.
Dude, I heard a lot of people cry. And you know, I was thinking about, I was like, man, this is not that sad. But then I thought about it like, okay, well, this is spoiled for me. And if it wasn't spoiled for me, it would have been pretty sad. Like, I mean, it's 11 years, you know? Like, it's
man, I would have been crying like a baby if I watched that by myself, but I didn't.
But you did not cry at the funeral. Did you cry at the funeral?
No.
Did you cry at all?
No.
Okay. Asha is known to be a crier.
Yo, I cried in Star is Born, but...
I cried like a baby.
I freaking almost bawled in there. I was just like...
probably cried at Mortal Kombat. So.
No, man, no.
Okay, so you guys did not cry in this movie?
No.
I cried in one part.
What part?
Okay, when you can't call him Hawkeye anymore. When Hawkeye / Ronin / By the way, looking back at our pre-show podcast, you guys had no idea about that. So I got something you guys didn't even know.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, okay.
All right, there's my moment of literally a moment of triumph. When Natasha and Clint are fighting on the cliffside.
Man, that part was really sad.
And they're finally...
I told you it was an Armageddon moment. I told you they were going to do an Armageddon moment somehow, right?
You did say that.
Yeah.
Right? And then that was the Armageddon moment. Like, that literally was the Armageddon moment.
Yeah.
Right?
That was.
So...
Okay. I wouldn't...
Right? Because you know how,
Scarlett Johansson and Liv Tyler in the same breath, but all right.
Well, yeah, because you're making the wrong comparison, obviously, right? Because you're going to
You're comparing actors.
Ben Affleck
We're not comparing.
And Bruce Willis to those two.
I also would not put Aerosmith in that one scene, but that's just me.
Oh my god.
Okay, no, but when he went there, and then she's finally, they're basically competing to see who's going to die willingly,
Yeah.
and then she's finally like he can feel her letting go, and then he finally just says he's like, please don't, because he's lost everything already. He has become the one thing. He's become an assassin, and the one thing that he doesn't want to do because he feels that's the only way he's gonna find love and redeem himself, or he just, that's the only thing he can do left in his life. And the only other person who he truly cares about is leaving him, and he's like, I can't go through this again.
No,
but he has a chance at getting his family back, and she doesn't have anybody.
Yeah.
But in that moment, and Jeremy Renner just, he becomes so vulnerable, and he's like, please don't, it's like...
Yeah,
but that's the beauty of the moment, right? Because she knows that even if they reverse time or, redo the timeline, that she'll be alone.
Yeah.
No matter what, right? So, because he's already got a family, So,
one thing I liked about the movie too...
I thought they pretty finessed a lot of things in the movie. A lot of the romantic ties and whatever. So they did a really
scene
good job with that.
And several others like it. I really like how the Russos, the way they directed this movie was they paired certain characters together to pull off certain scenes.
Yeah.
Okay, like we're skipping around here, obviously, but...
I love how Thor and the raccoon were together.
Yeah. With Bradley Cooper and him, they play off each other. But when Tony Stark dies, had they tried to use anybody else except Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow, I don't think that scene would have worked as well as it did. Because Gwyneth Paltrow is just an amazing actress. If they try to have, say, Brie Larson, if Captain Marvel went there and tried to say those same lines, it wouldn't have had the emotional impact. And again, you have Jeremy Renner and you have Scarlett Johansson.
What did she say? It's time to rest now?
Yeah.
Or you can rest now?
Yeah. But that's all that's years and years of exposition, right? Like every movie before this movie is basically the intro to the end, right? And so
they built that relationship.
They built that relationship, right? So I mean,
he's the only constant to all the MCU movies, right? I don't know. Except for a few. I mean, he's been in the most movies. Robert Downey Jr. has.
I don't know. But I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow could have been anyone.
If it started with somebody else from the beginning, then yeah.
I don't think anyone else could have been Tony Stark. I think Robert Downey Jr. is the perfect Tony Stark for sure.
And I also like how after the funeral on the riverbed when it's Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen. And
I like that. Cool.
And again, if they tried to make it, I mean, Chris Evans has grown a lot as an actor in these movies, going all the way back from the kid who was in Not Another Teen Movie. But if he tried to do those lines, or Chris Hemsworth did, I just don't think it would have been. It wouldn't have hit home as personally. You have to have real acting chops to pull that off.
See, I disagree just because at the end of the day, this is a superhero movie, right? And really, those scenes are driven by the backstory of each of those characters. So, I don't know. It wouldn't have made any sense to have any other two characters standing there. It's the two characters who lost their loved one, right? she lost Vision, and then he lost Black Widow, right? So, like, how would it make any sense to have Captain America telling her?
Did you like the way Chris Evans played the final scene when he was the old man?
No, I didn't like that.
I thought that was a little bit weak, but I like how Anthony Mackie, who's a tremendous actor, one of my favorite young actors, I thought he kind of stole that scene because he was like, oh man, like, how does this shield feel? Like I'm holding somebody else's gear, you know. The true actors and the movie stars kind of like really separated themselves, and there are very few people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that are both. To your point, I think Robert Downey Jr. is one.
Mm-hmm. They're all movie stars. They're all actors. I don't know. This was just a big celebration of everything that Marvel was for 11 years. It was definitely a good inning. I liked it.
I think Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, he probably had the lead. You know, it's sad that
he only said like 5 words.
Yeah, it's sad that a lot of those characters really didn't get to.
Chadwick Boseman said like.
No.
Aside from saying like some of the words like in native Wakandan, it was Zoslen is the. Ibombe! Ibombe! You know, like the battle cry and everything like that. The actual words he says, I think he only had like 6 or 7 words.
I can't even remember.
Speaking of words.
Shiri didn't even say anything. So.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of words, I believe that the Endgame was probably the most quotable of all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. It had so many lines which are going to be repeated for decades. They're probably going to be on shirts, they're going to be on memes and everything. If you had to pick one, what was
I love you 3000.
Oh, that's good. I forgot about that one, but that was, yeah. That girl was...
That one hurt.
That girl was really cute. Morgan?
She's super cute.
She was good.
I don't know. I just like the Scarlet Witch one. When she fought that.
I don't even know who you are.
Dude.
That part was funny.
That was my favorite.
I like that one.
That's the most memorable. Like,
because her eyes were glowing. You know, she's super pissed off, and she's like, "You took everything from me."
He's just clueless. Like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
You will, and dude, she's about to go like Omega Mutant on him. I mean,
yeah, that was awesome.
She almost killed him. She was. I mean, she had him. Basically, she took like these 2 huge mountainsides. Mm-hmm. Slammed them both into him, ripped them apart, shredded his armor, and then something as like she got hit from the side or something knocked her. But one of the other lines I liked was when Spider-Man was getting gang tackled. He was totally getting dogpiled by
But I don't really care for him as Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man.
No,
I
but
think he's the best Spider-Man.
What's it called? The arachnid armor.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's
called. But when he goes kill mode on, and I was like, what's he talking about?
The mock.
Dude, he wasted like 40 of those demons, man. I was like, of all the characters too, the young guy. What about That Is America's Ass?
That one was funny. It was funny.
And interesting how Captain America, the character who embodies so much virtue and everything like that, Chris Evans had the most curse words in this.
Did he?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
He goes, "Oh, let's get that son of a bitch."
Did he say that?
That was the first one, and then he said the S word a couple times.
How do you remember that?
That was when they went after Thanos the very first time.
Oh, when they were in the shed, or not the shed, that little wooden house.
I like that scene. I like that intro. I liked how they set it up that way, you know.
I felt like it was super rushed.
Like when they made it quick, I thought it was like, oh, this is a cool intro to a movie. Like this is the kind of stuff you'd love.
What do you guys think about Thanos in his t-shirt, like in his halter top?
Halter
domesticated. Top. He's over there and he's like cookie. He grabs like the dragon fruit or whatever, and he's like, I was like, Thanos at home.
Yeah.
That was okay. I liked it. I liked that. Because they already set the tempo of like, okay, obviously something else has to happen in this film, and it's not all going to be about Thanos.
Yeah.
Fighting, like leading up to fighting Thanos. There's something else that's going to drive the plot. And I like that. I like how they made it super concise in the beginning. Like just directly they find him, kill him, and then do the 5-year later thing. I
guess,
thought that was
when
really...
you put it that way.
Were you pleased with his death? After the big fight?
Like how he disintegrates and
I like that. I don't think they made it too.
I actually thought he
gory.
wasn't gonna die. I thought they were gonna freaking let him live and just be like,
him or something?
You're gonna have to live with yourself and all of us. Because Thanos' whole thing was killing half of the population so that humanity can what was it, be balanced or whatever.
So they can appreciate.
Yeah, and he didn't get his way, so I thought they were gonna let him live, but then you see him like.
What do you guys think of like the big epic fight? Like when he said, like, you know, there's Captain America standing out there all by himself. He's already winded. He's got like what 30% of a shield at that point. And then Thanos' army comes and they've got all of those. You know, you've got those big towers and you've got like the big snake thing. You got tons of those and then all of a sudden, I mean, I knew that I saw that coming a mile away. The whole Captain Marvel when she came back, I thought that was lame. Personally, because
I thought she was badass.
That's such a Disney thing to do, where you sit and she's like, okay, well, I've got a lot of stuff to do. You're not going to see me for like a really long time. I was like, okay, that's always a dead giveaway that she's going to come back at some point. Disney always does this with its movies. They did that in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, you know, you are my brother in Wakanda, but I'll never help you. And then all of a sudden they come rushing in when the battle's about the tides return. But so I didn't like that part. But when the Wakandan armies all came out, when the Asgardian armies all came out, and you see like this huge, and it's like, it's going down.
Yeah.
That was
awesome.
A huge fight. One thing that I was
the worst scene, now that I remember, was when the unicorn or whatever gets hurt. You remember?
The unicorn?
When, is
Pegasus?
it a unicorn? The Pegasus, yeah, when the Pegasus goes down. I was like, oh man, they're going to kill it.
Wait,
when did it go down?
They hit her or something and they just fell.
Oh, they knocked Valkyrie off.
Yeah, they knocked. So I thought, man, that's messed up.
You know
they make Pegasus die.
One thing I was hoping for in the back of my head, because okay, as soon as like the cannons, all of a sudden they aimed and it's like, hey, where are they shooting? Something's breaking through the atmosphere. Yes, it's Captain Marvel. Hello. And everybody was like, so surprised. Like, you guys couldn't see this coming. So like,
I didn't see that.
I thought it was cool.
Okay.
I thought it was cool.
But I was hoping. Because earlier in the movie Captain America, when Tony Stark goes, we are going to have a team, right? He goes, yeah, we're working on that. I hoped, despite everybody coming back, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, everybody that you know, Black Panther, everybody, I was hoping they would bring in the X-Men now that Disney owns Fox, and just say, okay, I also made a couple other calls and I've got some friends of mine, and all of a sudden, you know, and then
might have been too crazy.
Wolverine goes absolute. Speaking of Berserker mode, but you know.
One thing, okay, I do have one thing that I didn't like about the movie, and I think this is, I wish more people died in the movie. Like, I thought it was too simple to bring everybody back in the film and only kill off two main characters. You know, I thought that was kind of weird. Like, you know, the scene where Hulk, he snaps his fingers, and then nothing really happens, but they look in the sky, and then Thanos' ships blow up the Avengers headquarters.
I thought Ant-Man died, honestly.
Yeah.
I thought he died too.
Dude, with a missile in his chest.
I thought they should have at least killed off a couple characters there. Like I would have, you know, for me, I would have been like, oh yeah, this is awesome if all of them died. Like everyone in the Avengers building died, or like two guys lived. I would be like, yeah, that's awesome, because now it's the people who come back, and you know, the remaining, like even if they win, the remaining like forces are without like the main Avengers, then it would be an easy plot way to tie things up. But
one other thing I noticed that I guess nobody else
no one died there.
No one else picked up on but me was, you see when Hulk is like underneath the entire Avengers headquarters and he's holding it up, that's a casual throwback to a comic book cover that was in the original Secret Wars, when it was 87 or whatever it was, where all of Earth's heroes are trapped underneath the Beyonders planet, and the Hulk is literally the only other thing, and the caption is, you know, 150 billion tons, and the Hulk is holding it all up, and he's mad, and he's not happy. That was I was like, does anybody else like get this? And I was like, okay, well, whatever. But I guess I agree with your point, because contrast this movie to, like, say, Return of the Jedi, right? Return of the Jedi was all about the pure triumph of good versus evil. Everything at the end of Return of the Jedi was happy. You know, it was all positive. Han and Leia end up together. Luke Skywalker now has inner peace. You know, you've got Yoda and Obi-Wan and Anakin all smiling, looking at him. This one was more about like the nature of war, I felt.
Yeah, and see,
one side clearly won, but there were casualties to be had.
Yeah, and that's why I feel it kind of dilutes that whole emphasis, simply because only two people died. One of them wasn't even in the battle, right? Like, you know, one of them was sacrificed to get the Soul Stone, And
that was such a good kill, though. I feel.
No, I liked that death. I thought it was good. I thought both deaths were good. I just don't think they were enough deaths. I think they could easily have like killed off Ant-Man, Falcon, or whoever was in the Avengers.
So dark.
They should have. You know, maybe it's that Game of Thrones in me right now that's making me think like, wow, how do so many people live? You know, but. Yeah, I don't know. I like the movie.
So you thought Captain America should have like transferred the hammer from one hand to the other and then jam Thanos?
I got Game of Thrones spoilers here too, I guess.
Hit him with an ab shot or.
But
shout out to Arya Stark, man.
Yeah, no. So.
Did you just say Arya?
Did I say Arya?
Yeah, you did.
It's Arya, right?
Yeah, it's Arya.
So now you know which one of us actually doesn't watch the show, but. Reads everything about it.
And if I do, I'm probably going to spoil it for myself, which I've got no problem with, again.
Such a sad life.
You know, do you guys think this was the best comic book movie or best Marvel movie? Thinking of all the movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would say...
Well, yeah,
yes.
I like it because everybody's in it. Best
superhero movie of all time? It's hard to put it above Dark Knight. Dark Knight was amazing.
Totally agree. This is a really good movie, though. I would say it is up there in like my top 3 at least, but I think Dark Knight is a better movie.
There's a bunch of people even saying now this is the greatest movie of all time.
Yeah, and this movie is definitely not.
Which you think is nuts?
That's crazy. You need to watch more movies if you think that the superhero movie is the best movie
what is in your opinion then? What is above this? Like Avatar, Godfather, Wizard of Oz. I can
name like hundreds of movies that are above this.
I feel like there's just a lot more superhero
Inception
fans. That's
Dunkirk,
why.
Right? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I people just like to speak with them. You didn't even watch Dunkirk. What would you know? What other movie have you watched besides Avengers in the past 10 years? And Pet Sematary have you watched in the past 10 years?
Would you say Braveheart is better than this?
Yeah.
But
you don't think Braveheart is better than the...
Man, I don't even think I've watched
Braveheart, Titanic.
Oh, I love Titanic.
Are they not better movies? Like,
it's just a different genre.
Yeah, but as
would you say The Matrix or the Lord of the Rings are better than this?
I think this is better than Lord of the Rings. And I like Lord of the Rings.
I agree with you.
I do think this movie is better than Lord of the Rings. But when I think of the movie itself is like carried by 11 years worth of exposition, like I said before. Yeah. So, that's like an unfair, comparison, really, because, there's some kind of nostalgia and feeling that I get seeing these characters and whatever their plight is. But, there's no 11-hour or 11-year movie that
now
I'm
that
watching,
the Infinity era, as they're calling it, has been complete, do you guys feel a sense of closure and fulfillment and completion and having been through this journey? Because they like Cameron was saying, they really did do a good job of trying to tie off a lot of loose ends.
It was cool. It was awesome. And, how much
do you feel that way, Asha?
I don't know. I don't think I've thought about it too much. It's just a movie to me. I'm like, it's done. It's done. It's sad that it's done, but
how much of the events that happen in Endgame do you think were already planned and anticipated in the 11 years leading up to it? Because a lot of the scenes in the movie go back to those old movies, right?
Yeah.
And tie in a couple of loose ends. So do you think that some guys were just really savvy and were like, okay, well, we got to write for the
they've had this whole thing charted out for a decade.
Because you think of is it Thor Dark World, where he doesn't have the hammer, or he loses the hammer for a long period of time.
That was the second movie.
Yeah, right. So that is unexplained, right? But in Endgame, you see that when he returns back to Asgard, he pulls the hammer.
Doesn't he have it in the third movie? I think he loses it in the third movie.
No, does he lose it in the third?
He loses it in Ragnarok?
No, he loses it in the second. He gets the lightning in the third, right? He gets that. What do you call the other weapon?
Stormbreaker.
Oh yeah, because he loses his eye.
The one that Tyrion Lannister made for him.
Right?
Yeah, but I don't know if
was that part 2 or part 3?
That's part 3. That's
yeah, Ragnarok, and she breaks the hammer. Right?
Yeah. Does she break it?
Yeah, she breaks the hammer.
Yeah, but in the other one, he doesn't have the hammer. There's a period of time where he doesn't have it. So,
and that's when he loses himself, and that's when he stops being the god of thunder, and he's just like a wayward son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I didn't like the way Thor's story ended. I thought that when he was talking to Valkyrie on the shores of New Asgard, like he was going to say, I know who I am now, and I know, I have to be your king. But I mean, I thought it was neat how they said, okay, well, your majesty, and, he's deferring to her. But he's like, I have to be who I am instead of who I'm supposed to be. I was like, wow.
I love everything about Thor.
Okay, why did they use the Karate Kid ending?
He is charming. He's charming, Thor. He's probably one of my favorite.
Thor.
Yeah, he's probably one of my favorite characters for sure in the Marvel series.
Yeah, Asha's like, I'll still marry him because you can always do sit-ups. And you two would do Pilates together.
Yoga. No, I like Thor. I thought
Namaste by Asha.
But so they have that. They have a bunch of
Namaste with Thor.
They have a bunch of places where they allude to something that happens in the final movie, and I think that's really cool. Unless they just, were like, oh shoot, we better figure out.
No, I think they mapped out this whole storyline way in advance. I mean, it's Disney, it's Marvel. The worst thing that could have happened to either organization is if somebody had a contract dispute or if somebody died in real life, like one of the actors. We saw that with The Matrix when, like the original, the Oracle, the lady who played her in the first two movies, that real life actress had passed away, so they had to work it into the story about why do you look different. But fortunately, I mean, for an 11-year franchise to carry on the way it has, 22 films, they've been very, very fortunate.
Like, I won't say it's the best movie.
Seriously.
I don't think it's even close to the best movie, but I think definitely the entire series of films is a piece of cinematic history that is important to maintain and preserve. Like, they're the best at it. Like, that is clearly the best tie-in of 11 years worth of totally different features.
And they've already said they're working on at least 20 new TV series / movies because Disney's coming out with Disney Plus this November, and they've already said there's going to be a Scarlet Witch and Vision TV series. There's going to be a Hawkeye TV series only on Disney Plus.
With the same actors?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Great.
Which is good because Elizabeth Olsen got how many? Let's count that. You took everything. What? You took everything from me. You will. 7 words in the entire movie.
Whatever she said to Jeremy Renner on that.
Oh, and then she does. They both do. Okay, so there you go. Another 4 words. Or
well, I mean, like
words.
Given the.
She said 11, and for those 11 words, she probably made like $15 million.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty crazy. Like, I don't know. That was awesome. Anything else, guys, about this film?
Okay. Whose movie was this? You said you felt this was Thor's movie, or Thor really carried like the plot forward right throughout the thing.
I don't think he carried the plot forward, but I thought he had the best breakout role.
Okay, so it was a showcase for Thor.
I feel like
Iron
it was, but I think
or Captain America.
Iron Man or Captain America carried that movie.
I actually thought coming out of the theater, I felt that this was Nebula's story. I thought that because she's the one who. She was really trying to do the right thing and a good thing. She wound up, because she went back and that character went back in time and confronted her past self. She wound up being turncoat because she felt an allegiance to Thanos. But then that wonderful scene between that actress whose name I cannot remember, forgive me, and Gamora, when she's like, okay, so what happened in the future? She's like, we became friends, we became sisters. So good.
We're so cheesy.
That was a great line too, but that's not one of my top. But I really thought that Nebula really was kind of like it was a showcase for Nebula.
Huh.
That was just me.
I could have used more Drax and.
Oh my god, I love Drax.
What Drax? Yeah. What?
Yeah, he didn't really say
Batista
anything, right?
only said like 3 words. Oh, here we go.
I love Drax. No, at the way end when he's like talking about how they should fight or something.
With knives or something.
Oh yeah.
He's so funny.
I'm really excited for the third Guardians of the Galaxy.
Me too.
Can
I
you explain
love Guardians
Okay,
of the
yeah, you've watched
Galaxy.
Guardians. Why did Groot become Baby Groot?
Because remember, he died as
died.
Big Groot, and then he was Baby Groot.
Yeah, like
And
his
then he's
seed or
growing
something
up.
Oh, so he's a
became like
seedling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not the same Groot, right? It's like
Reborn,
yeah,
whatever.
reincarnated.
I don't
or
know.
whatever.
Dude, Groot kicked some butt in Infinity War, though.
Really? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember?
He came back with
like,
Thor and Rocket, and he was going at those
Yeah, when he was.
the Thanos army. And he's the guy.
He did
actually,
something. I
Well,
don't
no,
remember.
he extended his arm when they were trying to, and he combined the Stormbreaker, and then he cut off his own arm, and that became the handle.
Oh yeah.
So he
That's
saved
true.
Thor's life.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
And they had the funniest line. I mean, we're talking about Infinity War now, but no, the funniest line. He's like, "Oh, this is my friend Tree," and he goes, "I am Groot." He's like, "I am Steve Rogers." I was like, that was
Oh, yeah.
hilarious. I was cracking up so bad at that. Okay, this also was. I mean, I knew this movie wasn't going to be all serious all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually surprised at how many funny lines they put in there.
Do they always
Yeah.
like
Not just
Marvel
to-
always has comic relief in their movies?
And they've become really good at it.
Yeah,
Like,
not just for comedic tension breakers, but like it seemed like there were so many times when they just like dropped a line that you could laugh at, and it wasn't like weird.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they've become so good.
They're good at it.
Like, what does Tony Stark say? Like when Rocket's underneath, you know, for a second there, when he's talking smack to him, he's like, "For a second there, I thought you were Build-A-Bear." And he's
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that
I
was
love
funny.
Tony Stark.
It's good. I liked it. Now a lot of the casting choices that they had predicted, like Will Smith was supposed to become Captain America.
yeah.
Right. He was.
But he was gonna play Falcon, or
He was going to be Captain America. They were saying they were going to give a new There was going to be a reboot of the series or whatever, and he was going to be Captain America. But now we know, like, oh, okay, so this was part of the plan was, Falcon is going to become Captain America, right? So now we have Anthony Mackie.
Okay, do you guys?
Well, I don't think we'll be able to carry.
Who do you guys think should have rightfully become Captain America? Falcon or Bucky?
Bucky.
Bucky.
Really? Because at the end of that, you see like even Bucky's like, "Oh, why don't you go first? Why don't you go talk to him first?" It's like he almost knew.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they sent him back in time, it's like he had a feeling that that Falcon was going to be.
I'm kind of surprised.
Falcon is the one superhero that is probably like the least liked, just because his powers are so he's almost like a DC character. It's very, very pedestrian. Okay, he's a highly trained soldier who's got this really neat suit. It's not like.
It's the suit that's badass, not him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You didn't get bit by a radioactive spider and have like these insane powers.
I don't know. I don't know too much about Falcon, so.
Yeah, but it's weird because he's played by Anthony Mackie, who's one of my favorite.
What's kind of cool?
He's not the Sorcerer Supreme.
One thing that I think is cool, but I'm kind of worried about is how they use time travel as a plot device to kind of open up possible scenarios for future movies, right? So the time travel thing is really confusing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that they are kind of pitching it is that
When he
you can
comes
go
back
back
as
in time,
baby
but you don't
Captain
change.
America? Oh no, it was baby.
Like
Baby Ant-Man.
when you
Baby
go back in
Ant-Man.
time, you don't change the future of your current timeline, but you affect an alternate timeline, right? And you're not supposed to affect it like on a grand scale, because then that might ruin the outcomes of these alternate timelines, and that's why Captain America has to go back to put the stones back, right?
Yeah.
Because
If he
the Thanos thing has to happen, right? So I don't know. I thought that's confusing, but it kind of opens up, like all these other spin-offs and different things that will happen in the future. So,
I did have one observation for the product placement. There wasn't that much of it in this movie, but for some reason, Audi really got a lot of love.
they got the car. Yeah,
They got two cars. There was
nice
Captain
car.
America.
It was a
Yeah, there were
super
nice cars.
car, yeah.
I mean, Captain America's car drove up there, and then when Tony Stark went to go visit him, he drove up and like.
Was that an
Okay,
Audi?
yeah.
That was
That was an
nice
Audi.
car. That was
a nice
really
car.
nice car. I was
Yeah.
like, well, it's cool. Any last things about this, guys? I know, this episode is almost as long as Avengers Endgame, so we need to reel it in here.
Oh dang.
Great time.
It was
Do
good.
you plan on seeing it again?
Yeah, let's see what
I do.
I want to see it again. My mom wants to watch it. I might go watch it with her. we'll see. She was supposed to watch it yesterday, but she didn't. So
I think that's a movie that's better with other people.
It's still selling out. If you go to if you go to any of the megaplexes here, and I mean, shame on you if you go like a half hour early and you think you're going to get in, because like I had to buy my ticket a day in advance.
I don't mind waiting a little while until I watch it again.
It was awesome.
I don't need to see it in the movie theater
that was
again.
cool. Like, and I think it just feels better enjoying the experience with other people. Because, you know, I assumedly that they have watched 11 years worth of Marvel movies too, so they're gonna love all the time.
This really was one of those pictures where you said people, they laughed, they applauded, they cried.
1.2 billion, is that what it did on day 2?
No,
or like
that was opening weekend.
Opening
and that
weekend,
the global
yeah, global was 1.2.
box office take, according to boxofficemojo.com, was 1.2 billion.
That's insane.
Crazy.
They did particularly well in China.
Yeah,
the movie did.
You know,
and Disney really knows how to work the global.
So the biggest opening box office was Avengers: Infinity War, right? That was the biggest up to date,
and it crushed that.
So that was 680 million, and this did 1.2 billion. So they were optimistic. Like, if it does 900 million, we're sitting good. Like this.
Wait, can you Google that, what the budget was for this movie? Because they spent some serious money on this. You gotta unlock it.
But yeah, 1.2 billion. That's insane.
Awesome, though. Yeah. These guys are.
What am I looking for?
Yeah, for what the budget was for
to make the movie.
Crazy.
Because we do care about the economics of movie making.
356 million.
Damn.
That's it.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's an insane number.
They crushed it, yeah.
Okay,
so that's not as. I thought it would be closer to 500 million.
And in opening weekend, they've basically made their movie back fourfold, almost 4 times the movie in the first 2 days.
What was the first day? What was the box office?
Oh, opening night. I don't know. I just checked the first opening weekend, but.
That's crazy.
No, I know it was crazy. The numbers were crazy. I just don't know the exact number.
1.2 billion?
That's crazy.
Okay, do you think it's going to be, they'll nominate it for some kind of Academy Award? I mean, they put Black Panther.
Sure.
Well, I mean, not aside from like the special effects one, like Best Picture. Black Panther was a Best Picture nominee, right?
Best dramatic film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, interesting.
Uncle Ken, did you watch the movie?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I will because I.
Oh well.
Damn, we just spoiled the whole thing.
Don't worry about that.
Like Jason said,
oh my God,
sometimes it's better to have everything spoiled and then see it, right? Like that's Jason likes it that way.
Yeah, but
insanity.
Jason is Jason.
That's okay, wait. So who won the game between the Warriors and the Rockets?
The Warriors.
The Warriors did. Did you watch the game?
No, I didn't.
That's the same thing.
It's not.
It's the exact same thing.
It's absolutely not the same thing at all. You know that it's not, but
you know the outcome. All you did, you just didn't witness the events leading up to.
Well, I'm not going to bother watching the game. I will bother watching a movie. But if I knew the outcome, then
it's the same thing. It's the same thing, right?
I am not a psychologist, but I bet, and I'm going to go on a limb here, guys.
Oh boy.
That you have a fear of the unknown, and then that is why you needed to know exactly what was going to happen in the movie before you watched it, because you really did not want to go into the movie in a 3-hour movie.
Being wrong about something.
and have some kind of surprise. Let you have some kind of emotional reaction.
I don't like
while
surprises.
Other people were there in public.
No. So basically, you're saying I was afraid that I was going to cry.
No, not cry.
And I did.
Not cry. I mean, not. I'm just saying, like, shoot, isn't it nice to just like be surprised once in a while? Have something, different just happen. And I don't know. Those words of advice for you at home, guys. And on that note, we are going to end this episode. Remember, next week we're talking about John
Thank you, L. Ron Hubbard.
I'm
going to go read your book, Dianetics, after this.
So think about that. As always, thank you to Tango Theaters for always giving us the support. We'll have many more promotions and giveaways in the coming weeks for that.
But before we go, can I try something? I just want to see if this works.
Get out of here.
What is he doing?
He's trying to get a hammer.
I'm trying to summon the hammer.
It's lame.
So lame.
It's lame. Sorry, guys. On behalf of the 3 of us and Uncle Ken,
we gotta end it.
We'll see you later. Happy movie.
Happy movie.